in 1972, Ken Rosewell and Rod Laver, two great Australians, had an epic match in the final of the WCT. You were the ball boy.
I was.
How did that happen?
Well, my dad had begun a company called World Championship Tennis, and the idea was to grow the sport, grow it through television and grow it through sponsorships and grow it through events in various cities, to sort of, in a sense, create a professional circuit. And I think the origin of his thinking was there was a lot of amateurism in tennis, and let's go ahead and make it bona fide, make it real. Let's bring it up to the professional level. Let's recognize these guys for what they're doing. And so what my dad did was, the vision was to have the World Championship Tennis Finals. It was in May of every year. And it was sort of, there was the Australian Open, but it was before the French and Wimbledon, to sort of add that, if you will, fifth major. And it was a big deal. But the players needed to be rewarded. So, it was about like any business. It was going out, finding the sponsorship, getting the eyeballs, proving the business concept, ticket sales, all those sorts of things. And so WCT started mid to late 60s. I want to say it was 67. I'd have to look exactly at the history. I think it's 67 to 86. And so the Laver Rosewall, in fact, they played, I think, in back-to-back. So we were around it. My oldest first cousin, Al Hill Jr., worked for my dad in the business. So I really answered to Al. He was an older first cousin, and he was quite a good tennis player himself. He played at least collegiately and maybe minor professional or whatever there would have been. But there's these matches and we need ball boys. And so a friend of mine, Jay Lucas, who still good friends with to this day, we were at the net and back and forth. And after the match was over, I'll never forget this. We get to go back and kind of talk to the players or meet them. And Ken Rosewall, my dad says to him, he was the ball boy at the net. And Ken Rosewall looks and goes, "Oh, really? Why, thank you." And it was like, he was so focused on the match. He didn't know who was who. And I get it, but that was the level of concentration. But they were both great gentlemen. And Jay and I the next day complained at school, boy, do our knees hurt.
So when you think about what your dad did with football, you think about what your dad did with tennis. Mm-hmm. What do you think he'd think about LIV golf?
LIV golf? Oh my gosh, I know a little bit about it. I know it's a competitor for the PGA. Yeah. He was a big believer in free market and entrepreneurship. I think, like anything, he was a good with numbers and back envelope type of stuff. He would want to make it work financially. So I think that's what he would want to visit with and talk about. Trying to grow the sport, that was his thing, and he believed in that. And so I think he would probably say, "Hey, let's bring it on and see what happens." I know there's a lot of hard feelings about it, and I'm not an official spokesman on any of that stuff, but let's see what happens, I guess.
Yeah.